How was the run?
Oh, good. Yeah, yeah, it was pretty good. It's a nice day here, so a little bit of wind, but it's not hot anymore. Not that oppressive, muggy heat that makes it
Yeah.
really, really hard to run.
Yeah. Okay, good. Good. Yeah,
So
really solid.
just a lazy 10K this morning.
Lazy 10K. God, that is impressive to say. No, I saw it come through.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
nice, easy, chill pace, which is good.
Yeah, that's about that's probably about as fast as I'm ever going to go, I think.
Perfect. Well, that's like what I want your cardio sessions to be like is pretty chilled out. Like feels like, you're not kind of pushing everything out and trying to sprint the distance, but actually just being more in control of pacing. And it's in the gym that I really want you kind of pushing in, and particularly with strength workouts. So I'm
Okay.
really glad to see that you prioritize gym work this week. Like that was really, really good, because in the past, what you've done is just intense cardio sessions, and they're great, but they make our hunger levels crazy high. So what we're seeing now is you're doing this kind of lower state intensity with prioritizing gym sessions. Your body fat's reducing, the scale is reducing in itself, but even still, like weeks where we haven't seen the scale move, we're seeing the body fat drop as well. So that
Yep.
means that we're losing fat and we're building muscle effectively,
Okay.
which is exactly what we want. Like you're what, 5 kilos down now in just,
Almost. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, in 7 weeks, as we walk into our eighth week, which is perfect. Like weight loss is all relative. I have some clients that in 8 weeks they lose 10 kilos, right? But these guys are 140 kilos at times. So it's all relative to where you start, because that will make weight loss harder or easier as a percentage of your body weight. So yeah, you're spot on where we want to be. And, maybe we're looking at some additional weight loss, but a lot of it is going to be body recomposition for you as well. And
Okay.
just that process of fat loss whilst in turn building new muscle.
Okay.
Yeah,
I want to get down to 85 kilos though.
perfect. Yeah, yeah.
I think that's
100%
a
attainable.
realistic. I think that's a realistic weight for me,
Yeah,
and probably what I would feel best being.
perfect. I'll make a note. But this is great. This is good. How has the week been? I know it's been a tough week. Obviously, the redundancies,
Yeah.
you know, training and nutrition has been a bit out of whack because of travel. But yeah, fill me in on how it's all gone.
I think I think I behaved, for want of a better term, probably not too badly. I didn't exercise yesterday. The 2 days I didn't. The 2 days I didn't do a proper workout. What I would say a proper workout
Mm.
were days where I just needed to sleep.
Yeah.
And so that was Monday. Monday was I tried to step as much as I could. So I um, I managed to get steps up. Yes, and yesterday was a big walking day.
Mm.
Just no formal exercise. If
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's fine. And I'm so glad you listen to your body. A lot of people would just push through and they'll be like, "Oh, I don't need sleep. Basically, I'll just push through. I'll exercise. I don't want to lose this momentum." You did 100% the right thing, and this kind of lays into what I was going to talk about at the end, but I'll mention it now, which is around Easter. Like we've got to think with this mindset of a year rather than like, 10 weeks basically. Because if we've got this mindset of like, right, we've got this short amount of time. Every week we have to be progressing. We make impulsive and essentially silly decisions that don't actually serve us. So a good example of that is, yeah, training when you've had 3, 4 hours sleep instead of sleeping, basically. So you did the exact right thing. And like where I'm going with this is when it comes to Easter, I know you were saying like, hey, it's going to be a social Easter. That may mean flexibility is going to be a bit hard. That's okay, because it's just a handful of days over 365,
Yep.
and it, I want you to enjoy it. Be mindful, be present, enjoy that. Like leverage food is that. Obviously, be mindful that you want to make good choices. Don't just have anything and everything. But
Yep.
if flexibility looks more like 40% instead of 20%, it's fine. It's a day or two where you're having that. So again, just like, when you had the big piss up with the boys the other month, it's one day, it's going to impact progress, of course, but
Yes.
that's life. That's the whole purpose of it, is to enjoy.
Yeah. 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 I think what I'm trying to do is in those. is not to overeat.
Okay. In
Rather,
social occasions.
those social occasions,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, where it's really easy to dip in and have
Yeah.
second helpings or thirds, or really smother the plate in gravy.
Yeah. Is it like big portioned meals or is it more like grazing foods? Like,
No, I make a meal. So
okay.
I'll do nibbles, which is always
Yeah.
cheeses and like, and then I make a big meal.
Okay. Okay.
Quite often, it's often a roast because that's the easiest thing
Yeah.
to make.
Yeah. Do you find that you're fueling yourself properly throughout the day before the dinner or the lunch?
The last time I had a roast event, for want of a better term, I did in the afternoon. I didn't eat as much that night
Good. Yeah.
because I actually remembered.
Yeah.
'Cause often when you're prepping food and all that sort of thing, you're busy, so you don't think about what you need to sustain. And I've always had water on hand, but never thought of fruit and food as being something else to
Properly
add
fueling.
to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
It,
the fruit has been the most amazing revelation
good.
because I always had thought of fruit as being sugar laden and therefore it was a bad thing.
Mm.
The only fruit I ever ate was bananas.
Yeah. So many people do feel like that. They think the same. They're like, fruit, so much sugar, sugar's
Yeah,
bad. I'm not going to eat it, and I'm going to have maybe a chocolate bar instead. And it's like, well, you may have less sugar in a chocolate bar, but what else is in there? It's the micronutrient profile. So there's this saying, oh, it's amazing. But I'm forgetting. It's basically intake is, the factor which impacts how you look. So calories impact how you look essentially. And then components, i.e., like micronutrients, like what type of food you eat, impacts how you feel. So I think that's why you've been feeling a lot better this week because
yes,
you've been leveraging food as fuel and fuel and proper fuel, fruits, because they're so high in different levels of micronutrients, basically. So that's why you've been seeing the positive benefits from that. But yeah, also because they're high fiber, you're going to be impacting your levels of satiety too. So essentially, to give you an answer, the best way to reduce feelings of overeating when you know you're not hungry is to properly fuel before this. So if you know you're having a lunch at 12 or 2 or a dinner at 6, and that's going to be potentially possible, then make sure you're having proper meals and you're not necessarily reducing your intake because you're trying to like save up calories or any of that jazz. At the same time, like listen to your hunger. If you do actually need another serving, then have one. But I would always promote you to ask yourself that question of like, is this a normal portioned meal? Am I just maybe wanting this because I'm in an environment where that's common? And then the separate thing is like, how did I actually portion my meal? Was it high protein? Was it high fiber? Was it balanced across the 4 food groups? Those are the questions to be asking yourself. And it's a reflective exercise. It takes like 30 seconds to do. And you can do it at the table yourself, just when someone
yes.
else is talking. And once you know that decision, then stay with that decision, whether that is to have a bit more or to sit where you are.
Mm. But last night I had that big steak. God, it was nice. And a salad, and I made some chips. And I actually had quite a lot of chips, partly because I hadn't eaten enough during the day to actually fuel me, and
Mm,
I was very, very hungry.
mm,
So it was, I just needed to bulk up, you know, just get food in me.
good. Yeah. And sometimes it is just that. Like
Yeah,
sometimes it is just, yeah, let's just make sure we get food in ourselves. 100%. No, you're like where you are, like this is the thing is like I was just speaking to a client who's 5 weeks in, speaking to you who's yeah, on their 8th week or coming on to their 8th week. Some clients are 6 months in, 12 months in. A lot of people like they think they are not in the right place because they're doing certain things that maybe they quote unquote shouldn't do, but you're in that right place. Like I'm really happy with where you're at right now, the results you've seen, the things you've learned, and just what you're putting into action week on week. Like I think you're doing a stellar job and you're exactly where I feel like you should be as well.
thank you.
Um, which is great. It's phenomenal.
The exercising without pain has been oh, that's so good.
What do you put that down to?
Stretching.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sure it does. I'm sure it
Have you
does.
been doing the yoga flows? I haven't
Oh
been seeing them
God,
being
it's just
ticked off.
horrible. It's horrible, mate. I start it and then it's like, it's just excruciating.
Should I make an easier version for you? I could film some.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'll do
It's
that.
it's just hard. It's really, really hard. And I'm not flexible and my balance is like I've only just started feeling comfortable doing the thread the needle stretch
Yeah.
because so my balance is not balance. What is it? So you know when you're doing the um, the you got your leg, your foot on the back of a bench in the gym, and
Yeah.
you're holding two dumbbells, and you're squatting.
Yeah. The split
Yeah,
squat. Yeah.
split squat. Yeah, that takes me about 30 seconds to get my balance.
Okay.
So I'm just not I'm not steady on when I'm having to do opposite arm, opposite leg, all that kind of stuff. Just is quite um, neurologically difficult.
Yeah. But I want you to continue trying, like
Yeah, no, I
continue
do.
doing
I
it.
do it. I do. I
Yeah.
keep doing it. Yeah,
Because
yeah,
it's
yeah.
so important in, like, you're not old, but it's so important in our older years because that's when we lose so much of our coordination,
Yep.
and our motor
I've never
skills in
had
that
coordination,
respect.
mate, so it's all good.
But
You
yeah,
can't lose what you've never had.
after we jump off, I've got a call, but I'll record a another video just in the apartment here of like a revised version of the yoga flow.
Okay.
Because if you've been mentioning that the stretching has made you feel so much better in exercise in general, this mobility that you do will make things even easier.
Yeah,
Basically. So that's
I'm
great.
sure. I'm
Yeah, this
sure.
is a really big win. Good.
And the gym sessions of at I wonder whether I'm getting enough, whether I'm doing enough in them.
You are.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't want you pushing and feeling like you're, doing a really intense PT workout or you're in like a group class or you've done a super intense run. Reason for that is like long-term consistency and sustainability with pushing at that intensity, but also just regulating your body in terms of hunger and effort, um, and recovery as well. So yeah, if you're following the plan to the T, which sounds like you are, then you 100% are doing enough. Yeah.
Sweet, sweet.
Yeah.
Okay. The one thing the I've added I've added an exercise. I've added a chest press and substituted the band. You know the band thing.
Yes.
The band where you lift yourself up and you got the
Oh yeah,
band
the
around you. Yeah,
pull-ups.
yeah, yeah. So I've substituted that out for jumping pull ups instead.
Okay, that's perfect. Yeah, yeah. Is that
'Cause-
can we rewind as well? When you said
Yep,
about intensity,
yep.
why did you ask that question? Like, I don't feel like I'm pushing hard enough.
Because I walk out feeling like I could do a bit more.
How much more?
Well, I don't know. I recover quite quickly, I guess.
Yeah.
So in between the sets, so the sets are hard,
Yeah,
but then I'm okay at the end at the end of each set, if that makes sense.
it
So
does. It
whether there's
does.
another set or two of exercises that I could do, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. I think you're in the right place. If you were walking out and you were like, yeah, I could put in, double the amount of effort, fine. That's another question. But if you're walking out and you're like, I'm 70 to 80% done, that's where I
Yeah,
want you.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
that's about
perfect.
right. Okay.
With the pull-ups then. So are you doing the jumping ones just because they're easier instead of the banded pull-ups?
Yeah, I still, I think I've mentioned this to you. I hate if I can't see something at the gym,
Yeah.
I'm not looking for it. And I don't think I'm sure my gym hasn't got any bands in it.
Okay. Okay.
So that's why
Cool.
I've just gone to the jumping pull up, which is the most explosive and the hardest thing I do
Yeah.
in that set.
So what do you do? Are you doing a jump, like an up as you're kind of pulling yourself up at the same time, like leveraging that jump to pull
Yes,
yourself up? Yeah.
yes.
Okay. Cool. Continue those, and then what I want you to do is focus on the eccentric, so the downwards phase, basically, like when you're
Yeah.
go up explosively, and then when you're lowering down, I want you to almost count like 3 to 5 seconds
Yeah.
and really try to feel controlled, and not just be like, let yourself drop and then wait at the bottom for 3 seconds. Like try to have a very slow pace throughout the entirety of the pull down, basically.
Okay, it's hard. I, I,
It
I
is.
hate I hate
It
them.
is.
They
It is.
the exercise I hate the most of,
Po-
and so to actually get me doing them
Yeah.
is quite a remarkable thing.
The thing about pull-ups is they are the best exercise when it comes to back development, like shoulder health as well. Great for that, but separately back development and just that visual, like kind of like
Yep.
size of the back, they're the best. There's nothing that trumps it. Um, so I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad you're doing them, even if you're not a fan. In terms of other things, then, so how was sleep? Like, how many hours did you get? Because I didn't see that on the form, but you said you had a bad
Yeah.
night.
I had a terrible night on Sunday night.
Yeah, and then it just
But
kind of
that was a work thing. So that was
yeah,
just,
yeah,
and I have no problem falling asleep. What I have, if my brain will allow me to sleep for 90 minutes or so, and then
yeah.
it'll wake me up, and then I can be screwed for hours. Um, at that point, I recognize that, and I will turn on the light and read books for a while, like
Sure.
a book, not my phone.
Sure. Good.
Um,
That's what I do as well. Yeah.
yeah, but
Maybe even look at like reading to sleep instead of like trying to sleep first, not being able to sleep and then reading as well. If you feel
so
like, yeah.
I
Okay.
don't. So every night I read to
Yeah.
sleep, and that normally only takes me 2 or 3 pages.
Okay.
Um, and then I will eventually go to sleep, but it'll probably give me 2 hours before I have to get up. So those nights happen periodically. They're not
Okay. Yeah.
they're not every week,
Good. Yeah.
but
That's fine.
but they do knock me about.
Of course. Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
It's,
It's just that sometimes is just life,
yeah,
actually.
yeah,
Um,
and but the rest of the week's been pretty good.
good.
Probably between 6 and 7.5 hours sleep every night,
Good.
and
Perfect.
good and really good quality.
Perfect. The more the better for you.
Yeah.
If you can get seven, if you can get 7.5, even better. Have you been implementing that like just if I don't know what it's like when you're away for work, but that whole rule of like, hey, sit at the desk for 15 minutes, get up and walk for 10. Have you been trying out with that?
It's because this week has been quite a different kind of week. I've been having lots and lots of conversations with people at different places, so I've been walking a lot. So
Good.
I haven't had a lot of time where I've been sitting
Okay.
at
It's
my
fine.
desk for hours.
Yeah.
So, which it's ironically, I don't get nearly as much work done because
Yeah.
I'm doing a whole bunch of other things. So
Yeah.
so I haven't had the need to do that. So that's
Sweet.
been quite good.
That's
But
good.
this coming week, I'll
Yeah.
be
Take it in. Yeah.
back in Sydney, and it'll be back to normal sitting on
Good.
my ass,
Yeah. Well,
which means
that,
I have to
yeah.
get up.
Yeah, that's when I want you to implement that. And yeah, just every hour, even if it's 5 minutes instead of 10, just like stand up, get a
Yep.
walk in, go to the water cooler, have a conversation with a colleague, like whatever you want to do.
Yep.
Um, in terms of looking at the week as a whole too, the one, so it's interesting. I don't think it's we're moving in the right direction 100%. I think one thing that I would say is, and I always have a comment on alcohol. I think alcohol is so fine, and I haven't implemented it in my life this year, but when I do, and when I have in the past, it's always mindful. So I don't
Yes.
just go for a drink with the boys because I'm like, oh, it's Thursday, the sun's out, let's go for a beer. I'm like, right, I'm doing that because I want to, go experience that, have a few, get a bit loose, like how that you had that night with your friends, for example, too. So my advice is when it comes to alcohol, like so fine to implement and be balanced with that, but my promotion to every client is like ask yourself this question, like am I just mindlessly doing this for the sake of like fitting in or just having a beer, or do I
Yep.
actually like want this, and do I feel like this is going to benefit for me? Because alcohol has such a detrimental impact on sleep that people just completely ignore and disregard when it comes to not just quality of sleep, but also quantity of sleep too. So even if it's just a pint or two here and there, it's going to impact the next morning. So it's not the worst thing in the world. I really wouldn't mind if you had the exact same approach to alcohol throughout the remaining kind of 8 or 10 months. But at the same time, it's just one thing that I would promote you to be more aware of is like, again, am I being
Yeah.
mindlessly consuming alcohol, basically?
I very rarely drink during the week. This week I did because I was with people, and actually there were a couple of nights where I had a really, really nice meal, and
Yeah, perfect.
I
That's
wanted to
that's what I'm
have,
talking about. That's that
yeah,
awareness. That's perfect.
I wanted to have
Good.
the matching wine with the meal.
Good. Perfect. That's exactly where I want you. Cool. In terms of focuses then, and I will after this, I'll send over the vouchers, by the way. So well done on
Oh,
that.
thank you. That's very kind.
That's all right. That's all right. I'll do that between 2 and 3. I've got some
Yep.
time. In terms of focuses for the next weeks, I mean, there's a few. Some of them are, I'll say, three of them are. Uh, None of them are like focuses. None of them are to-dos because there's like five, but I don't want to overwhelm you. But they're all like quite easy things. Basically, what we talked about. So enjoy flexibility over Easter without the worry and guilt. Like just enjoy it, but also be mindful. Same with alcohol. Leverage fruits as snacks. I will send for another yoga flow, and then as a focus, like as a to do, I want you to hit your 10K steps as like a
Yep.
baseline as well.
Yes.
Cool.